We'll have the final 40 minutes to the end of this week trading at the Nigerian stock market here in Lagos. Channels Television business correspondent Temple Ashaju is right there on the floor for us to wrap up the trading week. Temple, countdown to close. It's nice to have you. Let's chew this together. What's the state of the market since we started about 10 o'clock in the morning?
Good afternoon, Bosin. Thanks for coming through right here to us on the floor of the NSE. Well, the mood's been positive. The index, key benchmark index, has been looking green all day, looking up. Right now, it's up some 0.64%, having risen a few from the 0.32% that the index was at earlier. We got the volume over 200 million units of shares currently being traded in the market. GT Bank trading at 1 naira 50 kobo, rising by about 1.50%, is really representing 80% of the total trades that we currently have in the market. If you look at the sectoral indices, you've got the industrial sector doing the highest this time as well, on account of the movement that we are seeing on First Aluminium, which is currently trading at a high of some 8.8%. And WAPCO, which is doing some 3.3%, is also one of the key stocks that is helping that sector to rise. If you look at the consumer goods sector, the consumer goods sector is also in the green territory right now, marginally up at the moment, but I believe it will continue to rise by the time we end the trading session today. This is because we've seen some of the large cap stocks like Nestle, Nigerian breweries, international breweries, and a couple of others. You've got Guinness also moving up at the moment. So at the close of the markets, it is looking like this particular sector will be the one to drive the market if nothing changes, given the level of momentum that we have as we speak. The banking index is also positive by 0.55%. That's 55 basis points. And that's on account of the level of movements we've seen in GT Bank, Zenith Bank, and a couple of other banks at the moment. The prices are, of course, really low. So we're seeing re-entry from investors. We're seeing bargain hunting. But if at all you see a downside of things, that's because you're going to see a bit of profit taking by investors who had put much more money on grants and are probably trying to take exit. But with the low prices, investors are coming in, while a few others are making exits also.
Yes, Temple, it's been a very interesting week. We've seen a number of news this week, a few directly into the market, but a few that are outside the market street, like the MTN and the Central Bank of Nigeria, softening a little bit on what will happen moving forward with MTN and those four banks, two of those banks listed on our market from the IST and the rest of them. So it's been some news for the market. What are the traders talking about?
So thanks for that, Bosin. Really, all of this news festered into the market. People, based on the kind of information made available, took decision on the likes of Stanbic IBTC and Diamond Bank, which were both affected in terms of the MTN certificates of capital importation issues. So we saw the likes of Diamond Bank rising during the course of the week. And at a point, yesterday it closed down at 1 naira 24 kobo. At the moment, it hasn't really changed much. Stanbic IBTC hasn't also changed so much. But then again, we understand that the central bank governor Godwin Emefiele will be doing a press briefing with the media this evening. The Minister of Finance, Mrs. Zainab Ahmed, as well as the NDIC will also be having a press briefing this afternoon. This is sort of activities that the trading floor traders and dealers generally waiting and watching to see what will happen. What do these people, the regulators, really have to say in terms of fiscal policies, in terms of the monetary authorities, who will be churning out information this afternoon. So until that comes out, to back up the level of the manner of news or the sort of news that we already have on ground, before we can now say what could happen, how the market will end, and of course what will shape, how it will then shape the market next week. Bosun.
Yeah, Tempo, the information you've just given us is just got the butterflies in my stomach upset, because when the central bank is having a media briefing at the end of the trading day, a little bit late in the afternoon, with the NDIC, that's the Deposit Insurance Corporation, at the table, at the Ministry of Finance, I begin to suspect something very big is about to hit the street. The last time the central bank and the NDIC held such meetings was years ago, when some banks were taken down. So I'm not trying to play the devil's advocate, but of course, if the central bank governor is briefing the media in Lagos and the NDIC is going to be there, which is considered the sector undertaker for the banking sector, then I'm sure I'm getting a bit of a stomach upset right now. That's one big story today. We don't know what is going to happen, but thank you very much, Tempo, for bringing us up to speed. It's Friday. The last time the central bank took down some banks, it was also on a Friday. Most times it happens on a Friday. That's today. Central Bank, NDIC, and MOF, their Tempo briefing us. The market is expecting a briefing. We'll keep an eye on that. You have it first here on Channels Television. The World Bank is expecting Zambia's economy to grow less than 4% this year, lower than the projection of about 4.1%. That's significantly different. But the global lender explains in a report that the projection is due to the poor agricultural harvest, lower copper prices, and fiscal debt challenges that are crowding out the private sector. The World Bank said last April that Zambia's economy is forecast to grow 4.1% this year and 4.5% in 2019, lower than previous projections by the multilateral institution because of the expected impact of poor rain. Meantime, the Ghanaian government has decided not to proceed with a planned 5-year local currency bond slated for final pricing on Thursday due to unfavorable market conditions. The Finance Ministry had planned to issue the bond to roll over maturing debt through book building process, which opened on Wednesday with initial pricing guidance set between 20.5% and 21.5%, and later revised to about 19.75%. Ghana, which exports cocoa, gold, and oil, is in its final year of $918 million deal with the International Monetary Fund. That's all for today. We thank you very much for watching, and goodbye from Lagos.